everyone, welcome to After Class with Ballet for All,
a podcast by two passionate adult ballerinas about all things adult ballet related,
and some random thoughts in between.
We're so glad you're here.
So grab your water bottle
or a cup of coffee
and join us for a quick chat after class.
Hi everyone, welcome to the podcast. Hello, Miss Elena, how are you?
Hello, Hannah. Very cold today. It is very funny. If everyone were looking at this screen today, they will see me with like long sleeve, high neck jumper. You're like with this very thin t-shirt, like hot. And I'm like, we are literally in different parts of the world. Like it can't get more literal than this. You are in hot summer, having a very cold winter in Melbourne, and it's been super cold this year. And I'm like, when is this going to finish? I just need it to be summer now.
I know, it is so funny that we're in the complete opposite climates. I think it's funny. One thing that's funny to me about Australia is that you guys celebrate Christmas in the summertime. And that's like such a funny thought to me, even though I live in California where it's basically summer all year round. Like, it's still funny to me that you guys are like in bathing suits and tank tops at Christmas time.
Oh, it is very interesting because although we don't have snow in Cuba, I grew up always like winter is on Christmas season. You have all these movies with the white snow and everything is white and red and green and it's Christmas, and then you get here and everyone is in the barbecue, or should I say the Barbie, doing some creams and with thorns and swimming at the pool. And I'm like, this is just so wrong. This is not Christmas. But I mean, I can't complain. Having a great Christmas holiday, swimming in a swimming pool, having the best weather and sunny weather outside. I really appreciate that one.
Yeah, it's not like you're suffering. So, well, we just finished my point class and it was great as always. And it kind of ties in perfectly with what we're talking about today, because one of the things that I was saying and we were talking about before the episode is just how progress can tend to be a little bit slower than you think it's going to be. And especially with my point journey, I think I would have thought that I was further along in the process that I am, but really so much of the journey is just about having patience with your own rate of progress and being okay with that. So today we're going to talk about things I wish I knew before I started ballet as an adult.
Yeah, and it makes so much sense of what you talk, and I think that should be our first highlight of this episode is patience is key. Ballet is very challenging physically, mentally, so just be ready to take your time, to not push yourself really hard. Just trust the process, because Hannah, it was the other day when you just like, I want to be on point, and you just decided to be on point, and you were like, but I want to do all this, and you thought that you would never get there. And slowly but sure, we are getting to everything. Like, imagine jumping in ballet class for first time and saying, yes, I want to do 3 pirouettes immediately. And just because you don't get it, you're like, okay, I'm quitting. It doesn't go like that, right?
Yep, it's so true. And I heard someone say, I think it was Catherine Morgan said on a YouTube video, and it's stuck with me because I think it's so true, is she said it takes longer to rush. And I think that is such a good thing to keep in mind, because it really does. If you get in the mentality of trying to rush through things like really building up your strength and really building solid technique, in the long run, it'll take longer because you'll end up having to go back and either fix bad habits or you'll get injured. And so you'll have to take a long break. And so there's just so many reasons why if you rush, it does end up taking longer. And so that's something I've been really thinking about lately, is just being patient, like you said, and not rushing. Because in the end, if I have patience and I keep going, not too slow, but if I'm okay with going at a slower pace, a lot of times you end up meeting your goals sooner in the long run.
What would be our next thing, Hannah? You as an adult ballerina, what do you wish you knew before you started?
I think one thing that I really wish I knew is that everyone feels self-conscious to a degree in class, and everyone is struggling with something. Because I think when you first start, especially if you start by yourself, like if you're not going to classes with a friend and you're kind of just walking into class and you're doing your own thing and you're leaving, like it's really easy to look around the room at everyone else and think like, oh wow, they seem more confident than I do, they seem like they know what they're doing more than I do, like I must be, the one who's struggling the most, or I must be the only one who can't get this one step. And then I think something I've realized as I've made friends within the adult ballet community and had, conversations with people, is that every single person feels that way in some facet of their ballet journey. And so I think if I had realized that when I first started, it would have taken some of the stress out of it for me, of feeling like I was the only one that was self-conscious and I was the only one that was nervous coming into class. Like pretty much everyone is nervous. And so I also think too that knowing that it makes you more empathetic when you have like a new person come into your class. Like I think now I try to be really friendly when new people come in and just remember what it felt like when I started and how self-conscious I was and how nervous I was, and to try to really befriend people and create that space that's warm and welcoming, because everyone is nervous and self-conscious.
Yeah.
And so you're not the only one.
It is true. I think although I didn't start ballet as an adult, I have you all by my side now. So I kind of feel like, I wish you all knew beforehand. Yeah. And one of those is ballet is not as challenging as it looks like for adult community. Does that make sense? Like we know as a kid, when we are in the ballet class, it's full competition constantly. And we don't really help each other because we want to get there, and you're scared if he gets or she gets better than you, they get the part and you don't get it. But in the adult community, it doesn't feel that, you don't feel that isolated. I think that you guys really have a great community in which you help each other, you cheer up everyone, you push each other forward, and let's do it, we are together. It feels so much different as the ballet community as a child. Like, what is your thoughts on that, Hannah?
Yeah, I definitely think that the adult ballet community is much more open and welcoming. And that is something I wish I had realized before I started again as an adult, because I think my only conception of ballet was taking it as a child, and it wasn't a great experience. And so I think when I wanted to restart as an adult, I had a lot more hesitation than I should have. Like if I had known that the adult ballet community was going to be so welcoming and great, I think I probably would have jumped back in sooner. So I wish I had known that.
So you see, that's something that I'm pretty sure a lot of people will be like, I wish I did that earlier. Mm-hmm. I think that something else is on kind of in the same realm. It's never too late to start ballet. At this point, I had so many different students from so many different backgrounds, different ages. I had a male, 55 years old, didn't speak my language. I didn't speak his language, and he still learned ballet with me for a year and a half. And he improved so much, and he just proved to everyone it isn't too late. His dream was to dance ballet since he was 5. And for whatever reason, he never was able to. And he learned ballet with me for a year and a half. And he had the best time ever. And he proved to himself that it's never too late to do whatever it is that you love, and especially ballet.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, we've had a couple of older women join my in-person class over the last few weeks. And I love it so much. I'm like, they don't even know how much they inspire me. When I see people come in, because I'm like, I know that it's really hard, especially in ballet, because it does have that stereotype around it of it being for just really young and really skinny and, all the things that kind of go with ballet. And so anytime I see, someone who's older come into class and they're just really putting themselves out there to come and learn something new or to come back to something that they haven't done in a long time. And I'm just like, oh, it's so inspiring. I love it so much.
Yeah, it is lovely. Like, I'm going to start my new Silver Sands classes on my in-person studio. And one of the things that the studio owner asked me is like, but can anyone join to that ballet class for seniors? And I'm like, yes. And she's like, are you sure they don't need any ballet experience? I'm like, no, that's the idea. If they have an experience, like prior experience, they can join and they will just like use it to get back to it or to go back through their old memories. However, if you're a new dancer and you are 55 plus, you're more than welcome to join, and slowly we're going to learn what ballet is like. So it's never too late, and there is no limit.
Yeah.
It's just like if you want to do it, you can do it. And why not?
Mm-hmm.
I think another important thing that you all should know before you start ballet as an adult is the importance of the foundations of ballet.
Mm-hmm.
And by that, I mean, make sure that you go through all of the basics. Don't try to jump any steps. I think that's very important from a point of view as a teacher. But what about you, Hannah? Because you are the real adult dancer here.
I think it's one of those things that as I was dancing longer, I kind of realized, but it would have been easier if I had just known this up front, is really how much ballet is stacked on top of itself, if that makes sense. Like every move is the foundational move for the thing that comes after it. And so it's like I was even thinking about this the other day in class. We were doing développés, and you bring your développé up to retiré, and then as you extend, you're not just shooting your leg out forward, you're hitting attitude as you're coming through. And it's like every step has other steps that it's layered on. Like I almost think of ballet as layering, and you kind of realize that the more you do it. But I think if you know that when you start, it helps kind of make sense of everything that's happening in class, and it helps you make sense even of why class is structured the way it is and why things happen in a certain sequence. Like you might wonder, why does any class I go to, it's like it starts with pliés, and then we move on to tendus, and then we, there's a reason for that. It's because it's a very layered practice. Yeah. And so I think that knowing that helps you conceptualize it as a whole and helps you make sense of why it's so important to really be committed and obsessed about the details, because otherwise you're like, what's the point? But if you realize that it's because it's going to layer into the next thing that comes after it, then it's like, oh, okay, I understand why this is so important.
Yeah. And it's not jumping those steps. It's like sometimes, oh my God, I already know how to do badminton. Why do we keep doing it slow? And now this reminds me, do you remember how long did we spend doing demi-pliés in 4 counts? 2 pliés down and 2 counts up. And I was, at some point myself, I was like, I think it's going too slow. There were months, not to say a year. I think it were long months of us just doing slow plié down, 2 counts up and again. But now we haven't done a slow plié in what? Again, month? In a year?
Yeah.
And the pliés are so deep, so fluid. No one is doing a shallow, sharp plié. All of you have lovely demi-pliés, soft and continuous. And that doesn't come, oh, they are natural plié people. No, it comes from that foundation where you got a little bit like, why do we keep doing slow pliés? I think that as a ballet teacher, my motto is, in ballet, there is always a why. Why are we doing this? And there will always be an answer to it. Like in ballet, nothing happened for, we just need to do tendus. Yeah, let's just do tendus. Why are we doing those tendus in that rhythm? Why are we repeating them so often? So if you have any doubt or if you are feeling too bored in the ballet class, ask yourself, why is the class slow? What is my teacher trying to get to? And that is the foundation of ballet. You adult dancers have so much now on your side. Like the community is growing. Everyone is so passionate of learning ballet, isn't it? And the community is there. The support is there, and we are all here for you as an adult dancer.
Yeah, and I think like you don't have to have everything figured out in order to start. You know, I think sometimes people feel like they need to have everything, they need to know everything before they can jump into a class. But I think you can start because the community really does come around new people, you know, especially like if you don't have, you know, an in-person community, like the online community, even on Instagram, like the Instagram adult ballet community is so lovely and so supportive. And it's like, if you are struggling to figure out something and you're like, hey, like I need a recommendation for a different type of ballet shoe, or like, what do you think about these types of toe pads, or do I need this? Like I've had so many different conversations with people in the adult ballet community on Instagram about like recommendations and things that you can, you know, that people find helpful. And so you don't have to have all of that figured out in order to start. So if you're thinking like, oh, I don't know if I want to jump in yet because I don't know all the things about ballet, jump in, because the community is there to answer questions and help you as you go. So I think that's another thing that I hope people know as they're thinking about starting.
Yeah. Next week, we have Hannah's friend. Who is she, Hannah? Let's give a quick hint of what's happening next week.
Yeah, next week on the show, we are going to have my friend who is a registered dietitian, and she's going to be talking about just the best practices for fueling our bodies as dancers. She has a lot of knowledge when it comes to nutrition and meal prep and all that stuff. So she's going to be helping us with some tips to just make sure that we're fueling our bodies as adult ballet dancers. So I'm really excited for that one. I think it's going to be a fun episode.
That's it for now.
See you guys on the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to After Class with Ballet for All. Join the community on YouTube and Instagram, or come dance with us, our weekly Zoom classes for adult ballerinas like you.
Links included in the episode description. Special thank you to our sponsors.
See you next time after class. Podcast produced by Mission Bridge Media.